Discourse analysis is an important and interesting concept and approach in social science research. The current presentation is aimed at a brief introduction to the concept of discourse analysis. So first of all, what is discourse? In a broader sense, a discourse actually means verbal communication or communication through the use of speech or writing. Some authors have also conceptualized discourse as the use of language as a social practice by a group of people. Now, what is the scope of discourse, or what are actually the concepts that come in the fold of discourse? So these generally include language, which includes vocabulary, terminology, structure, and the use of language in a particular field of society or in a particular field of knowledge. For example, on the basis of the particular focus of the discourse, we can give some examples such as education discourse, that actually means discourse in the field of education, medical discourse, political discourse, gender discourse, and so on. Now, discourse analysis in a broader sense actually means the examination of the discourse or an analysis of the discourse. Now, in research or academic context, a discourse analysis actually means an approach to the detailed, systematic, and rigorous examinations or analysis of verbal communication or language, the use of language, in order to understand the meaning, the message of that is contained in that particular discourse with reference to its contexts. And so those contexts could be social, political, or economic contexts. This is mainly because the discourse analysts have this view that language shapes and is shaped by the social context or the social relationship. And as a result, the use of language, the understanding of the use of language is generally possible with reference to the social context in which it takes place. Now, the scope of discourse analysis actually means that language in discourse analysis in discourse is not only considered as a mean of communication, but also of shaping, directing, and creating social reality. Secondly, the scope of discourse analysis, as a result, extends to the what, why, and how of language, of the use of language or verbal communication. Generally, the what and how limits discourse analysis to the structural or linguistic or descriptive level, while when we consider the why question, that extends the scope of discourse analysis to the critical aspects of the use of language. For example, the use of language in its socio-political context, or we can say socio-linguistics, particularly with a focus on the use of language to influence power dynamics in the society. Now, generally, the subject matter of discourse analysis, first of all, discourse analysis is something that is generally multidisciplinary. So, discourse analysis is an approach to research is used in different fields of knowledge. For example, in linguistics, literature, sociology, anthropology, psychology, politics, and education, and many others. The focus is generally on the verbal or textual form of the discourse, or in other words, the language. But there could also be made use of other elements such as pictures, films, media representations, dialogues, interview transcripts, social interactions, political speeches, lectures, and documents. So all of these could be made the subject matter of the discourse analysis. And the next thing is that the use of some form of text analysis is actually a requisite part of the discourse analysis process. Now, why is it that discourse analysis is used as a research approach or as a research method? So first of all, the focus of the discourse analysis is actually on the study of language, or the analysis of language, particularly the use of language in its social context or background. Secondly, it examines the use of language in terms of the power dynamics in the society. That is, language use in political rhetorics or speeches, identification of social political positioning, identities, and narratives. This is also one of the focuses of the discourse analysis. So, in order to understand the socio-political positioning, identities, and narratives of people and groups, discourse analysis could be made use of. Thirdly, it helps in the understanding and supporting social change through the language use. And the other very important thing is that discourse analysis helps in the identification of power relations in the society, in the socio-political environment. It develops insights into the awareness regarding socio-political dynamics. And lastly, discourse analysis helps us in understanding and exposing rhetoric vis-a-vis reality, social reality. So what rhetoric is presented in, for example, in political speeches, and what is the reality behind that or in comparison to that. That is something that is exposed through, and that is actually examined through, explored through the process of discourse analysis of the political rhetoric, for example. Now, what is the general process of discourse analysis? The general process of discourse analysis is very similar to the other general processes of research in social sciences. So generally, we need to select a topic that we need to explore in our research. Then we need to establish the aims, the research questions, and hypotheses related to that topic. For example, the topic could be the particular agenda or the particular stance of a particular political party that we want to explore. For example, their democratic stance or their egalitarian stance in comparison to the realities on the ground. And so we can then develop the aims and research questions and hypotheses related to that particular topic. Once that is done, the selection of the discourse or subject matter. This subject matter could be, for example, the political manifestos of that particular party or the speeches of the leadership of that political party, or other textual data, or maybe data in other forms related to the activities of that or the agenda of that particular party. It could also be interviews or the data could come in different forms. So we need to select that particular discourse subject matter. After that, we need to select an analytical framework. So again, the analytical framework will be developed in line with our research questions and hypotheses. And then on the basis of this, the data will be analyzed and interpreted. and this will be followed by a discussion of our findings in the light of our background knowledge and literature review, and that will ultimately lead to the conclusions and implications of our discourse analysis research. So this is the general process of discourse analysis is a research approach. We will have some more specific discussion on the particular strengths and possible challenges of discourse analysis in some future presentations.